Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Chopping It Up with Zenith Intellect. Today's topic is going to be, what's the 411? So let's get into it. So first I'm going to start off with a definition, and the word that I picked for today's definition is information. Because for all of you that's familiar with the slang, with the 411 slang, that pretty much means information. Or when you need when you're on the telephone and you're making a call, or you need some information, you call 411, and that's what 411 stands for, or means. It mostly means information. So that's why I picked information as the word that I'm going to use for the definition. So, with that being said, information. Knowledge obtained from investigation, study, or instruction. Facts or details about a subject. So that's the definition of information. And also, if I might add, I'm going to also include a scripture. And this scripture comes from Proverbs 4, chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So I will read that one more time. Proverbs 4, chapter 4, 7th verse. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So I thought that scripture will fit well with the topic I'm talking about, since we're talking about information, or as I said, for those that are familiar with the slang 411 pretty much means information. So yeah, that's why I called it what's the 411? And also, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's a title of one of Mary J. Blige's songs, or maybe her album. But yeah, what's the 411? But I thought that scripture will fit well when it comes to obtaining relevant information and knowledge that will better improve your life, or as well as your quality of life. So, because you notice in that scripture it says the principal thing. And if you think about what principle means first in order of importance. And like when it comes to getting the right information, getting information, and not just information, but you want to make sure you get the right information, that should be the most principal and important thing when you're trying to get the right information. You know, it's not just necessarily about getting information, but you got to make sure you're getting the right information, the correct information. So yeah, the principle first in order of importance. The principal thing. So moving along, the information is out there. We have more access to information than we did in the past, and it's in the form of the internet. Yeah, before the internet started, we had to actually, go to the library, check out books, and actually read and research things and look into things, and before the internet came on the scene. We had to like go to the library, check out books, and do research. And don't get me wrong, we still should be doing that today. I mean, even though we got internet out and internet's available, I mean, it doesn't hurt to still go to the library and check out physical books and actually read them and do research, or take notes off of what you're reading. There's nothing wrong with doing that even today. But I say that to say this, that because the internet is out, it's like, okay, now many people really don't have an excuse to why they can't obtain or get access to knowledge or information. And that, like I said before, it's not all about just getting the information, but make sure you getting the right or the correct information, because the internet you can look up information on the internet and it might not necessarily be factual or credible. But you got to make sure that when you do look up the information, when you do your fact finding, your fact finding missions, to make sure, okay, I'm getting the correct information, and this information is coming from a credible source. I'm actually getting facts. But yeah, the internet is allowing everybody around the world, not just in the United States, but globally, to be able to have access to information. They're able to have more access to more information, and able to get it at a quicker pace. If you can't get to, even if you don't, like, you're one of the people that just don't, you don't want to go to the library and actually check out a physical book and read it. It's like, okay, well, I could just look this subject up on the internet and get all the facts or information I need to get on this subject while at the touch of my finger. While at my fingertip. Whether you log on to a computer or you get it off your smartphone or your tablet or your iPad or whatever, it's like, okay, the information is there. So it's like, yes, and I said, yes, you can still get information from books, and there is nothing wrong with going to the library. Granted, it also gives you access to computers, the internet. Yeah, you can still go to the library and check out actual, like, physical books and read them, take notes or whatever, and get all the information you need out of the books. And there's nothing wrong with reading. Me personally, I love to read. I love to pick up a physical book from time to time and actually read it. Even though now with the technology, you can actually download a lot of these books now, but sometimes there's nothing better than holding a physical book and actually reading it and extracting the information from it, per se. So but yeah, even though we got the internet out, there's nothing wrong with actually picking up a book and reading it and extracting the information from a book. It's good to read. Everybody needs to actually pick up a real book from time to time and just read it. So with that being said, moving along, and it's like, yes, there are some info, and yes, there are some infos that we have to that we must pay for, like seminars, webinars, classes, and books. So yeah, it's like that old saying goes: the game is to be sold, not to be told. Yeah, some people, they'll give you the information, or business, where people or businesses per se, they give you the information, but you're gonna have to pay for it. It's like, you might say, hey, I want to go to college, and that's fine if you take the well, in my opinion, smart route and say, hey, I want to go to college. I want to get a 4-year education, but at least let me start off by going through community college. And it's like, okay, it costs money to take classes at the community college. You got to pay for that information. You got to pay for that knowledge. It's like, well, yeah, we'll let you have access to the information, but you're gonna have to pay for it. And even if you go into a community college via trying to get, pick up a trade, it's like, okay, well, if you want knowledge about this trade, you're gonna have to pay for that knowledge. You got some seminars that might teach, like, wealth building classes or seminars, where they teach you the different avenues or ways you could try to acquire your wealth. It's like, okay, well, I teach you the knowledge that I have about building wealth or like making your money grow or whatever. And but it's gonna cost you. Hold a seminar at some coliseum or some hotel or whatever, and it's gonna cost $100 per session or whatever. But yeah, it's like you got to pay. You got people that have information that could probably help you, as far as like helping you obtain higher learning, or the better your quality of life. It's like, okay, I got the information, but you're gonna have to pay for it. So like I say, going to college not free. You're gonna have to pay for the classes. You know, if you want the certain information or knowledge from somebody that person, that you feel like this person, if I listen to this person and apply what they tell me, I could probably end up making more money than what I'm making now. Or, you know, even if it ain't about money, it could be about self-help or something. But you still gonna have to pay for it. So it's like, yeah, have to pay for a seminar. Then you got webinars. You got people that put together webinars, and they give you information, or they teach you a skill via the internet, but you're gonna have to pay for it. So it's like, okay, they got a webinar series where they give you relay information to you that you can actually try to apply to your own life. And that's the key thing. You have to actually apply the information. It's not enough just to listen to them and I mean just to hear them, but you got to also apply the information, because you know they got the saying that says that knowledge is power and ignorance is bondage. But if you don't apply the knowledge, if you don't apply the knowledge that you're given, then it's really no good. See, they say knowledge is power and ignorance is bondage, but I always like to say applied knowledge is power and ignorance is bondage. Applied knowledge is the power. Because think about it. You know, before I move on to that, with that part, let me finish up saying that, like I said, yeah, you have to pay. You know, it's okay from time to time if you find yourself having to pay to go to a seminar, or you have to pay, and especially when it comes to a college education, it's like, yeah, you're going to have to pay to take those classes. Those classes aren't free. But if you're going to go to college, at least try to be as fiscally and financially responsible as you can when it comes to go to college. You know, at least you can start by going to getting as many credits as you can at a community college, and then once that's actually transferable to a university, and then it's like, okay, I got so many credits accumulated at this community college, now let me transfer it to a state university and finish it off there. So by the time you get through getting the degree that the market is actually is in need of, then it's like, okay, you got a degree and you're not about $40,000 or $50,000 in debt, because you start off at a community college, transfer to a state university, and the degree you got is actually something that the job market is in rampant need of. But at the same time, you got to be careful, because you got some people out here that you got that are snake oil salesmen, or they're charlatans. They're not really giving you like information that you can actually really use or apply. They're just selling you dreams, you know, or they're just giving you a bunch of filler. They're not giving you anything that you can actually that's going to really help you. And it's like, okay, well, you pay me S amount of money, and I tell you this and I tell you that, and it's like, gosh, they're just, you know, a snake oil salesman or a charlatan. A lot of they're just speaking, like tell you pretty much what you want to hear, but not what you need to hear, and giving you information that you need to use, you know. But getting to the application part of communication, it's kind of like you know, say like you're in a firefight and it's like you don't have a weapon, and then someone just tosses you a rifle or a pistol and say, here, you know, here's a rifle, here's a pistol, and it's like, oh, and great, but oh, and by the way, I don't know how to fire a rifle or how to fire a pistol. You know, it's that someone threw you the rifle, they threw you the pistol with ammo included, and it's like, oh, I don't know how to shoot, I don't know how to load a gun. So it's like, okay, you're in a firefight, and someone tosses you a rifle or throw you a pistol. That pistol or that rifle is not going to do you any good, because you don't know how to use it. You don't know how to load the load the rifle. You don't know how to even fire the rifle. You don't know how to operate it. Or it's kind of like a car. It's like, okay, someone say, here's a car for you. I bought you a car. Go ahead and drive it. And it's like, oh, well, what do I do with this? I don't know how to drive. It's like, it's no point. The car's not going to do you any good if you don't know how to drive it. If you don't know how to operate the car, then it's not going to do you any good. It's kind of like information. It's like someone gives you the information. If you don't know what to do with the information, you don't know how to apply the information, then it's not going to really do you any good. You know, even if you go to college, it's like, okay, I took an English course, or I took some math course as the math teacher. The professor is trying to break down, give you the information in reference to how to solve the math problems or whatever, and you don't know, and you don't know what to do with the information. Then it's a waste of time and a waste of money, because it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this information when it comes to math. I don't know how to use it. So it's like the information is out there, whether you choose to accumulate it through the internet or read a whole lot of books. It's like, okay, once you get the information, you still got to know how to apply it. You got to know how to use it. You know, it's like if somebody's bleeding out, and then there's like some type of rag or t-shirt over there that could be used for a tourniquet. It's like, hey, look, there's a rag over there or a tourniquet. Can you use that? Use that as a tourniquet so that you can stop the bleeding. But if they tell you if you don't know what to do, if you don't know what to do with it, it's like they need your help or whatever. If you don't know what to do with the rag, you don't know what to do with the t-shirt, and they could tell you, hey, use that as a tourniquet, but you don't know what a tourniquet is, you're not going to be able to help them. You're not going to be able to process to apply the information, because you don't know what to do with it. You know, they could tell you use it as a tourniquet, but you don't know what a tourniquet is. If you don't know how to tie a tourniquet or the stop the bleeding, once you get access to the rag or the towel, it's not going, or the shirt or whatever, it's not going to do anything good. That person's going to bleed out because you don't know how to apply the information. You don't know what to do with it. So that's why I say it's like there's a lot of information out there, but if you don't know how to apply it, then it's still, it's still for naught. It's not going to really do you any good. So just like there is a lot of information out there, there's also a lot of foolishness, a lot of distractions out there that can keep you from forever unlocking your true potential or growing in knowledge. There's a lot of distractions out there, especially people. To me, I think people are can be some of the most biggest distractions. People can keep you from distract you from accumulating or tapping into information that you need to be tapping into, information that you need to be extracting, but they can get in your way. Even down to your family could get in your way. They could be a distraction. Your so-called girlfriend or boyfriend could be a distraction. Your friends could be a distraction. But people in general could be a distraction. They could keep you from obtaining information that you need to obtain, or get not wisdom that you really need to be getting. You got some people that you hang around them long enough. It's like they won't encourage you to try to go to either go to college and get a degree that's relevant, and that's relevant in the job market, and the job market actually is in dire need of, or B, go to trade school to learn a trade and say, hey, you know what, go get some knowledge or information about being an electrician, or being a carpenter or a plumber, or being the HVAC, or being an automotive technician or mechanic. They're not going to, they can distract you and do anything and say anything to keep you from actually applying for the classes, or enrolling in the course, or they can just go back to one of the videos I did before talking about toxic people. But yeah, so you got people that can distract you, or even when it comes to like you got a mind to say, hey, you know what, I want to go to church, I want to go to a house of worship, and because I want to get information, the correct information about the Holy Scriptures, about the Word of God. I need some information when it comes to how to serve God, or how to get to heaven and ultimately escape hell. I need information on how to do that. So it's like, okay, you got people that can distract you and discourage you from going to church, or going to hear someone that's God sent, that God actually sent, to give you to break down the information so you can get the wisdom and knowledge that you need, the information that you need to get yourself ready in for the next life, for the life to come. They say, well, hey, this is how you worship God, this is how you serve God, this is how you live for God, and this is how you can better your chances of actually getting into the kingdom of heaven versus going to hell. And you got people that would distract you from going to church, or discourage you from going to church, and say you don't need to go to church, or don't you don't have to don't go to church, and don't believe nothing what they preaching, or they might tell you God's not real, or they might try to throw some colorism in it and say, oh, they just preaching about some white blue-eyed Jesus, or some black dreadlocked Jesus, or some Asian Jesus, or whatever, and they say, well, you don't need to go, and that stuff is, and they're just stories, and just because they don't believe in God, then they expect for you not to believe in them too, but they can distract you. They'll keep you from obtaining knowledge that you want to obtain. There's all kinds of things. Or you might want to start a business, and you say, gosh, let me try to get some information and some knowledge on how I need to go about starting a business, because I want to start a business. You might want to strike out on your own to be an entrepreneur and open up a small business or something, and you got people that would distract you and keep you from ever trying to get started, or put your foot forward and try to start a business, because they would distract you. Either they'll tell you can't do it, or they don't think it's possible, or how you're going to get the money together. It's just people will distract you, especially if they don't got nothing going on for themselves. So when it comes to trying to get information, just be aware that people can distract you, and they can possibly sometimes be a roadblock in you trying to obtain the wisdom and the knowledge, the information that you need to make to be a better person, and also have a better quality of life. And I'm telling you, it can even be your own family members, your so-called boyfriend, girlfriend, your wife, or your husband. They could be distractions. Your so-called friends or associates, they could be distractions, keeping you from obtaining knowledge that you need to be obtaining. And then also, what could be a distraction aside from people is entertainment. Some people will rather be entertained, and they rather gravitate towards foolishness and bull crap instead of gravitate towards knowledge and information that can like I say, make them a better person and improve their quality of life, and as well as improve the quality of life of their family too, if they're married and they got kids, or even if they just got kids, say enhance and improve the quality of life for their kids. But it's like, oh no, they rather gravitate towards foolishness. And there's a lot of foolishness and entertainment on the internet. And am I saying there's anything wrong with being entertained from time to time? No, it's all right that from time to time that just tap into some form of entertainment, But I mean, constantly, when you should be out there getting information, possibly, especially if it's like you stuck at a job you don't want to be at. It's like, okay, well, what do I need to do? What information do I need to obtain to be able to get promoted, or work on, or trying to find a job that's going to pay me more money? How am I going to go about getting the information so I can know what kind of skill set I need to be able to make more money? But you got people who will spend all day, pretty much all day on YouTube. And don't get me wrong, YouTube got its purposes, it got its strengths, but you got people that'll spend all day watching comedy, watching parodies, watching these just foolish videos, or watching freaking ratchet ghetto behind stuff on YouTube that ain't gonna do nothing for that, ain't gonna add any type of benefit to their life. Or they want to spend all day listening to music videos, or watching music videos, or like I say, watching comedy skits, or watching movies, or anything else they can watch, and it's not adding nothing to their life. Or catching up on gossip, because you got a lot of these channels on YouTube. All they do is gossip. They like chatty patties. It's like people tune in to get the tea, to get the gossip, instead of go ahead and apply that to try to get information that's going to be pertinent and important to to their life. So it's like entertainment can distract you. Entertainment, or people wrapped up one about what some athlete is doing, or how much money they making, or what their numbers and stats are, or they want about what some rapper or some rap beef. Like, who cares? Really, I mean, obviously somebody cares, but to devote that much time and energy on someone you're never going to meet, you put all this time, devote all this time and energy on being distracted through entertainment and entertainers. So I mean, like I say, entertainment in itself can be a distraction. You know, let's say if people will put the same energy and time that they put into all this foolishness, they provide on social media and devote that time to getting knowledge, they won't have a lot of the problems that they have now. See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you devote all the energy and time that you put into entertainment and foolishness and bullcrap, and apply that to getting the right information, a lot of y'all wouldn't be in the problems that y'all are in now. A lot of y'all wouldn't be in the situations y'all in now. Y'all wouldn't be there. You know, when they say now, instead of listening to a teacher, or instead of y'all, you know, some of y'all out there listening to a teacher, you rather listen to a fool. Instead of listening to a teacher, you rather listen to a fool. And you got some people out here that could teach you some valuable lessons, that could give you some really give you some really good gems for free. You don't have to pay for it. You get some free information, some free knowledge that you can actually apply. And the key thing is applying, because you got to know how to apply it. If you don't know how to apply it, it's not gonna do any good. You know, it's kind of like you could go to the doctor's office and get some blood work done, and then you come back and the doctor interpret that blood work for you. But if the doctor telling you your sodium is too high, you need to cut your sodium. You need to cut down how much sodium you eating or taking in, or your cholesterol is high. You need to cut down on eating a lot of the fatty foods you're probably taking in, or eating fast food or stuff like that. You need to cut down on that, or your sugar is high. You need to cut out the processed sugars and all kind of and things of that nature. He or she is telling you, giving you advice, sound medical advice on what you need to do to be able to live a longer life and to be able to be healthy. But if you don't actually stop taking in all the sodium, and stop eating all too much processed food and fast food, or cut out eating all too much processed sugar, then you know what? If you don't do that, then you can't blame nobody. You can't blame the doctor. You just have yourself to blame, because the information is there. The doctors give you the information. The doctor's telling you this is what you need to do in order to prolong your life or to live a better quality of life. If you listen to the doctor might not even have to give you any medications. Might not have to put you on the statin. Might not have to put you on some type of diabetic medication, because they're trying to keep you or steer you clear of having to actually have to do that. I mean, I know some doctors out there, they're pill heavy, and then if you just breathe funny, they will just prescribe some type of medication or put you on some type of meds. Some doctors are like that, but not all doctors are like that. Some doctors really want to do everything they can to keep from having to give you medication, prescribe medication, or even have to have you cut open. So if the doctor's giving you the information and they're telling you this is how you can avoid having a heart attack, or having a stroke, or having a coronary artery disease, or avoid being a diabetic, they give you the information. But if you don't apply the information, then it's going to be your fault. It's going to be on you. It's not going to be the doctor's fault if you have a stroke, or if you have a heart attack, or you end up becoming morbidly obese, or whatever the case is. It's not the doctor's fault. It's your fault, because they gave you the information. But if you don't apply the information, if you don't use the information, then it's not going to, you're just going to be only hurting yourself. So people will actually, put more time into try to obtain information. A lot of the situations that you in, you probably wouldn't be in it, because it's like, okay, you sought information, you sought wisdom and knowledge, and you not only sought it, you applied it. You used it, you applied it. It's like reading the Bible too. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge and information that's in the Bible. But if people don't apply that information, then it's their fault. You can't blame God if God is give you the wisdom and knowledge that you need, that when it comes to this life, not just the life down here, but the life to come. If He's giving you the information, and and not just that, but He's giving you the opportunity to sit in the presence of a God sent pastor, a God sent preacher, apostle, or prophet. If you got the access to being taught by a God sent man, then it's like, okay, they're giving you the information, and they're not just giving it to you, they're breaking down the information so you can understand it. But if you don't apply it, then that's your fault. They give you a block of instructions on the job. They give you information on the job. If you don't apply the information and use the information the way that it's supposed to be, and you can't apply it, then you don't have nobody to blame but yourself. And you can't blame your boss, you can't blame your supervisor or your lead, or you can't blame them and say, well, it's your fault or it's their fault. They gave you the information, they gave you the knowledge, and I'm quite sure they gave you resources to be able, that if you don't understand it, they have someone to break down the information for you so you can understand it. But if you choose not to apply the information, you choose not to ask for the instructions, then that's pretty much your fault. That's your problem. It's not theirs. So I mean, the information is out there, but it's all about what you do with the information, and also if you apply the information. Then you got to make sure that it's the correct information. You got to make sure it's the correct information. I told you could go on the internet, pull up information, but the information might not even be credible. You got to make sure it's correct. You got to do some research. The same way some people call themselves breaking down a lot of these rappers' lyrics and researching their lyrics and trying to break their lyrics down. I'm like, if you could break down information or math problems the way you break down a lot of these corny behind rappers' lyrics, then guys, a lot of you would be a whole lot better off in life. But to each his own. But when it comes to information, when it comes to the 411 information, you got to know you got to be able to know how to use it. That's the key. That's key. That's the important thing, being able to use the information. Being able to actually apply it. So that's all I wanted to say about that topic. Saying, how it seems like we have an abundance of information out here. And some people, it's just sad that a lot of people out here, the information is out here, but they just don't know how to use it. And they don't know how to tap into it. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Thanks for listening. And also, if you like this video, don't hesitate to press like. And also consider becoming a subscriber as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for listening. Peace.